Well,
We're keeping outpatient at the existing hospital.
Okay.
So if you go to see an allergist or something, it's all gonna remain the same. But to give you an idea of the cost, how things change, the original hospital that they opened in '56 cost $5 million to build.
I'm sure it is.
Right now,
Do we need 7 or?
that will build you essentially, depending on the part of the hospital,
6.
5 to 6 rooms.
1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6.
And isn't that crazy? Because that was in 1950s, building codes and construction, like
Absolutely.
everything's so much more modern there. And it's still
Alan,
10x.
It's boggling
he's not.
how much it costs.
So wait.
I wish you get started.
Yeah, stroke. Yeah, stroke should be an AEG.
Go ahead and call the January 13th, 2026 Planning Commission meeting to order. I'd like to ask everyone, please, first to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm going to ask our secretary to call roll, and then I know the mayor's here and he'd like to say a few things. So Mr. Buss,
Mr. Sutton,
here.
Mr. Bess,
Here.
Mr. MacArthur is excused, Mr. Williams,
Here.
Mr. Buss is here, Mr. Lurk,
Here.
Mr. Hogan.
Is he? Okay.
Okay. Ms. Lurkins is excused, Mr. Keller,
Here.
Mr. Hack,
Here.
Ms. Turner, Mr. Sweeney, and Ms. Pope.
Thank you, Mr. Buss. That is 7 commissioners present, establishing a quorum from this evening's meeting. Mr. Mayor, Mr. Moritz, would you like to come and make your remarks now? The friendlier one. Oh, gosh. We're in trouble now.
Uh-oh, you're in deep trouble. You're gonna have to talk into that, aren't you?
Tonight is Andrew's last night on the planning commission. He's been on for 16 years. And about half that time as the chairman of the commission. And man, it was really nice of you. And thank you for stepping up. And beyond planning, you've generously given your time to numerous other commissions on it, the police board and the beautification program. And you've helped our community in many ways that cannot be repaid so easily. But all we can do is recognize your service and say thank you. And your longstanding commitment, institutional knowledge, and just all around being a good guy has really helped our community, benefits our community. And I really wish more people would step up, and I'm glad you did, and for so long. And we're going to miss you. So stay around. I know you're not leaving town,
I'm not
but
going anywhere. Go on the police board.
but I'm so glad to see you here, and I want to say thank you and congratulations,
Thank you.
Andrew.
Appreciate it.
With that.
Oh, no.
Bigger piece of paper.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you
I can
can,
almost read it with my eyesight.
you can almost read it. Yep, put a light behind it if you like,
That is
but,
so.
but Sarah was able to pull that off. They got that done in less than a week.
Thank you so
So-
much. Wonderful.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I'm going to put this over here so I don't drop it. Well, thank you for indulging that personal moment in a public meeting. And Mr. Mayor, thank you very much for your kind words. And staff, thank you for a wonderful gift. Mr. Secretary, you took roll, so next is the approval of the December 9th minutes. At this time, asking for a motion and a second for approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Lurk.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. We have a first and a second for approval. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved as submitted. The next item is public comment. This would be the only opportunity For anybody here this evening that is not here to speak about anything on the public hearing agenda, to ask questions or provide feedback to the commission, is there anyone here that is not related to an application this evening? Anyone online? Okay, perfect. So we'll skip past public comment. We do have two items on the public hearing agenda this evening. First is file PC-2025-34, which is a conditional use permit. At this time, I'm asking for a motion and a second to open the public hearing for this application.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Buss.
Second.
I love you, Del, but Mr. Keller beat you
Let him have it.
there.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to help.
So we have a first and a second to open up the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
The public hearing is now open. Ms. Turner, I believe your presentation.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
Chairman. This is a request for a conditional use permit to allow for a gas station at 501 Jeffco Boulevard to allow for the resumption of gas sales. The subject property is located at the corner of Jeffco Boulevard and Starling Road, Starling Airport Road, in front of Dollar General and Dave's Diner near City Park. This particular gas station is likely one of the oldest still standing in Arnold, being constructed in the early 1960s. Here is the site on Google Street View from June 2023. And then here is the site in the days following last March's F2 tornado. As you can see, the canopy structure collapsed and sheared off the two northmost gas pumps. And here is what the site looks like currently, with the convenience store open and temporary fencing around the pumps. On the zoning map, the Gulf Station is within a C2 district surrounded by other commercial areas with the river to the north. On the future land use map, this area is Greenway on the outskirts of a mixed use node. The 2022 bike ped plan does not call out any improvements in this area related to the Greenway. So it is still that, that mixed use, which of course supports commercial development. On the following slides, I will provide a brief summary of the analysis provided in full in the staff's report. So of course, for conditional use permit criteria 1, consistency, the use of an autofilling station or a gas or fueling station does require a conditional use permit in this district. Being as old as it is, U-Pump or Gulf did not have a conditional use permit and were considered illegal pre-existing non-conforming use as long as the gas station was operational and otherwise in compliance with our non-conforming regulations. However, due to the extent of the damage and various insurance-related delays, the fueling station and gas sales portion of this business ceased after the tornado and was unable to restart within the code-required 60 days. Therefore, they are making this request to resume their operations. It is substantially consistent with the district regulations and comp plan to have gas stations located along commercial corridors and especially at major intersections with signalized signals such as Jeffco and Starling Airport. Criteria 2, no detriment to the area. Shown here is the applicant's site plan with staff annotations for clarity. As you can see, the site is largely to remain the same minus the previous canopy at this time. The city did not receive any comments of note from reviewing agencies, including MoDOT. And to summarize the staff's report for this section, commissioners, of course, will note that the canopy is not proposed to be replaced at this time. This is because the previous canopy was almost entirely within that 50-foot structure setback and cannot be replaced unless a variance is granted. Their intent is to obtain this conditional use permit to resume gas sales and then later on go to the Board of Adjustment once, of course, the income starts coming in from resuming gas sale. With no canopy, that means that the pumps and future customers are exposed. There are a couple important notes for the commission to consider regarding the canopyless pump situation, so to speak. First, Arnold's code does not require that gas pumps be covered. This is something that could always be updated, but that is the code at this time. Second, the applicant has provided a letter from Dover Fueling Solutions, which is the manufacturer of their pumps, that the pumps are suitable and safe for coverless weather exposure. For planning purposes, the manufacturer providing this letter of suitability is more than sufficient. Additionally, just to clarify, of the 4 pumps, the 2 red ones, as shown on this plan, were damaged to the point of needing full replacement. The applicant's intent is to resume gas sales from the green ones, replace the red ones over time, and to eventually replace the canopy. In the meantime, the red pumps would have box coverings. A quirk of interpretation, but in researching this project, staff found that gas pumps have not ever been considered structures. The associated convenience store and canopy are structures that need to meet setbacks or require variances, but the pumps themselves are never directly mentioned in any previous gas station approvals. Staff have opted to keep consistency with previously approved projects. That said, the row of pumps closest to Jeffco are much closer to the right-of-way than at any other gas station along Jeffco Boulevard in Arnold. That said, they have also been in operation for many years with no major issues after pulling some old police data. As shown in the December site photo on screen, the parking lot surface and trash enclosure condition, they do need some repair and maintenance, and the parking spaces need minor adjustment to meet code standards. These are minor fixes overall, not a biggie. And finally, due to the limitations of this site, staff are not recommending any landscaping requirements. Despite the lack thereof, there just isn't space for much on this site, and they are surrounded by those other internal drives. Staff have a list of recommended conditions of approval that, if followed, we find would result in compliance with criteria 2. I'll overload you with those near the end. Criteria 3, visual compatibility. There are other gas stations in the immediate area, the Circle K across the street, and the applicant has provided examples of gas stations with, including some of those canopyless pumps. Resuming gas sales and slowly rebuilding the site is, of course, compatible with the commercial area that it is in. And then criteria 4, essentialness or desirability. Providing a variety of gas station choices in the city is an essential and desirable addition for the city's mobility. Additionally, to note, this would allow for a long-term business to reopen following storm damage. Staff finds that this criteria is met, provided that, of course, the conditions of approval are satisfied. Oops, sorry. And then finally, of course, as mentioned throughout this report, staff recommends approval of this request subject to the following 10 conditions. Apologies for the size, but these are the same conditions that are in your staff report. So 1, that the filling station operates as shown on the site plan with 4 pumps. 2, that any pumps to be operated uncovered have to satisfy the building commissioner and fire marshal prior to being turned on to address any safety concerns. 3, that the canopy cannot be replaced until a variance is obtained. 4, box coverings for damaged pumps are to be replaced have to be painted complementary to the building and kept well maintained. Once the pumps are being replaced, those wood coverings have to be disposed of immediately. 5, that the damaged pumps covered by a box cannot be there forever. This condition would give the applicant a year to complete that work. And if they fail to replace the pumps in time, the pump infrastructure would have to be removed. 6, of course, repair the parking lot to the satisfaction of city staff, which it would be consistent with other property maintenance inspections. 7, repair the trash enclosure, again, consistent with other property maintenance inspections. And then finally, 8 through 10 are our boilerplate conditions of use or conditions of approval for all CUPs. And that does conclude the staff's report. The applicant is here with a presentation as well.
Thank you, Ms. Turner. If the applicant would like to make their presentation now, this is a public hearing, so we need you to please state your name and your business address for the public record.
Good evening. I'm Mike Miners with St. Charles Engineering and Surveying. It's 801 South Fifth Street, St. Charles, Missouri, 63301. And Vilesh is with me. He's one of the owners. I'm not sure who the other gentleman is, but Sarah, I guess this one, the right one. Okay. Sarah did a good presentation. This is a picture of the station prior to the removal of the canopy and the pumps by the tornado. I actually researched when the station was originally built. My imagery didn't go back any earlier than 1985. I saw that it was here in 85. Sarah's been able to find some footage or photos that go back to 64. The adjuster for the insurance company told me 80 years, but I don't know if that's really true or not. So, but that's 62 years if it was 1964 that it was a convenience store and selling gas. Initially, it didn't have a canopy on it, and then, well, when I was a kid, I was born in 57, and when I started driving the car, I don't remember being very many canopies on pumps way back then, but well, I remember the small ones that would cover you just, but not as big as they are today. But so then everybody remembers in March of 2025 or 2025, the canopy was ripped off along with I don't know how much of the dispenser was damaged, but they're damaged. The two on the one side were damaged enough to be removed. So, right now it's fenced off and you kind of see the two pumps. The convenience store is still open. And they're having a tough time selling stuff because, with the big fence up in front of it. So the idea would be if we get approval tonight, we would still sell gas out of the two pumps that are remaining, and then go forward with a variance request for the canopy, since the canopy will be constructed about 5 feet from the building. That's generally where they're built, extending out over the pumps. They actually had the same canopy when I started working for them. I didn't start working for them right away back in March. It was later in the year. And speaking with some of the people working for them, the contractor who's going to put the pumps up, he was building the new canopy, replacing the exact same canopy. And in speaking with Sarah, it appeared to me that that was not a good idea until they get the variance. Because I'd hate to have this giant canopy, and I don't know if you could cut the end off. I wouldn't think you could. So right now, we're approaching the city to get the conditional use permit for an auto filling station. And if we get that, then the next step is to work with the staff and the city to determine what is the appropriate canopy to request into the front building line. The old canopy probably went pretty close to the right-of-way line. Just to explain a little bit, and I think everybody realizes that on the right side of the fuel pumps is a lighted intersection that's actually a travel way that goes back to the Dollar General, but there's good circulation. There's a second curb cut on the other side of the property. The site with the canopy and the 4 pumps, obviously it's functioned for many, many years without any issue. So I'm not surprised that there haven't been any comments, because there hasn't really been any issues. But it's pointed out in the staff report that the pump island, the front pump island, is pretty close. What happened was it was always close. There was a right-of-way request from MoDOT, and that made them even closer to the right-of-way line. The 2 pumps in the lower, I should say the pump island on the lower part of this diagram, it was 12.5 feet from the right-of-way, and now with the foot taking, it's 11.5. The other pump island, it's got a triangular taper taking, where it was 14.27 feet, and now at the far end, it's like 10.24 feet from the right-of-way line. So they were always pretty close, but now they're even closer. And these are the same pumps that are there now. It's the Ovarian 2, and basically it's fully rated for outdoor use to prove without a canopy. So this includes resistance to weather, ultraviolet light, temperature variations, and other outdoor operations. And this is a gas station of BP with no canopy. Sarah showed you that in DeSoto. There's another one that actually has a canopy over two dispensers. And then it's got another couple dispensers that don't have a canopy. So we're requesting approval of an auto filling station this evening. And then after we get that approval, our next step is to approach the city through the Board of Adjustment for a variance to construct the canopy. So, thank you.
Does anybody have any questions for the applicant? Okay, we're going to discuss this in our executive session, so thank you for your presentation. At this time, asking for a motion and a second to close this public hearing and open up the public hearing for PC-2026-01.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. We have a first and a second to close the existing public hearing and open the new one. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are now in our public hearing for file PC-2026-01, which is another conditional use permit. Ms. Turner, I believe you're going to be presenting this as well.
So actually, as you may have noticed, we do have a new face here. This is Bella Pope. She is our newest code enforcement officer. And also, at least for the interim, I have her helping me as a junior planner. So she is actually going to be giving this presentation.
Let's proceed.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Chairman. This request is for approval of a conditional use permit to bring a new oral surgery clinic into compliance with city requirements, allowing the clinic to occupy an existing tenant space in Arnold. The proposed oral surgery clinic would be located within the Richardson Crossing Center, situated north of the intersection of Richardson Road and St. John's Church Road. Other notable tenants in this center include Compass Health, DaVita Dialysis, and Forefront Dermatology. As shown on the zoning map, the subject property is located within the C3 commercial district. The site backs up to the St. John's Crossing subdivision and the Richardson Place apartment complex. On the future land use map shown on the right, this area is designated as commercial within the commercial nodes centered on the Interstate 55 and Richardson Road interchange. This photo was taken from the Richardson Road crossing parking lot in December of 25, facing the subject tenant space. The oral surgery clinic proposes occupying the former Missouri Baptist University space within the existing commercial center. Criteria 1, within the C3 commercial district, several medical and clinic uses already exist. As such, an oral health clinic is consistent with the character and intent of the zoning district. Criteria 2, reviewing agencies reported no concerns with the proposed conditional use permit. Staff also found no notable records or compliance issues related to Midwest Oral Clinic. The site provides adequate parking, landscaping, and existing infrastructure to support the proposed use. Criteria 3, the building has a modern look with an appeasing masonry facade that is visually pleasing and serves as a visual anchor within the development. And criteria 4, Midwest Oral Clinic would provide an essential and desirable medical service to the community, expanding dental and oral health care options for Arnold residents and the surrounding area. Moving to staff recommendations, based on the staff's review and findings, we recommend approval of the requested conditional use permit subject to the following conditions. First, that the clinic be established and operated according to the submitted plan. Second, that the clinic may only offer outpatient services and no overnight stays. And 3 through 5 details how a conditional use permit may be revoked if necessary, and that the city's zoning approval does not supersede other regulatory agencies. And that is all.
Thank you, Ms. Pope. Is there an applicant that wishes to make a presentation this evening?
I don't really have a presentation, but I'll answer any questions.
Okay.
Rob Jacknowitz, 2324 Hampton Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri, 63139.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions for the applicant? No?
Root canals, Distractions, all that kind of.
Good fun stuff. Thank you for being here. We're going to vote on this in our executive session. Thank you. Now asking for a motion and a second to close this public hearing.
Motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
We now have a first and a second to close the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Public hearing is now closed. Next item is other business. Ms. Turner, is there a comprehensive plan update?
We do not have one tonight, but our intention in the future is to get back on the horse here with this comp plan update once we have another full-time planner. Of course, I was named as the permanent community development director, so now my next task is to replace myself. So, but that is all I have for this.
Thank you. Now asking to close our public hearing, I'm sorry, to adjourn our regular session and move into executive session. Now asking for a motion and a second.
So move.
Thank you, Mr. Buss.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Keller. First and a second to close our regular session and open our executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are now in executive session. There is no old business, so we're moving on to new business. First item on the new business agenda is PC-2025-34, which is the conditional use permit for the filling station. Before we begin our discussion, I'll ask for a motion and a second for approval.
So moved with conditions.
Technically, according to Robert's rules, you really shouldn't be debating unless there's a first and a second on the floor.
Oh, second.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now that we have a first, Mr. Sweeney, am I being honest there? Thank you.
Okay.
We now have a first and a second for the motion. Now, commissioners, the floor is open for discussion.
Okay.
Mr. Lurk, would you like to go first?
Yes, I've got a few questions. Thanks for the presentation. Biggest question I have is regarding the 50-foot structure setback. Is it building setback or a structure setback per code?
It is a structure setback per code. As I outlined in my presentation and in the report, though, for whatever reason, we have there are a number of gas stations that have been granted setback variances.
Mhm.
It has always been the canopy,
Canopy.
even if the pumps are within that 50-foot structure setback, they were not granted relief, yet they were still built. So in keeping consistent with that, the pumps are not structures.
Okay. Yeah, that's been my biggest concern. Like generally, I don't have a issue if they get a variance for a canopy, but those two pumps closest to the road, I have a real big issue with. If this were to come in as a new application, I don't see us supporting that. And I get that. We have to look at it as a new application, right? Because they've lost their, but also want to respect the fact that they've been here since the 60s as well. But I can't, the visual compatibility and I guess the good planning practice like this, in my mind, allowing those two pumps that close to the road does not fit good planning practices in my mind. I will not be supporting this motion. I have an issue with the two pumps that close to the road.
Thank you,
So
Mr. Lark.
I would only add that if the basis is that the pumps are structures, we have historically not described them as structures. And that can change,
Mhm.
but not on the fly.
Mhm.
That's what this would be. To be quite honest with you, I didn't know that we didn't treat them as structures until a few minutes ago. I hope that it has never been presented to me because my interpretation is that anything that is
It is
attached
fixed.
and affixed to the parcel is a structure.
Mhm.
Because we've had arguments that my shed is not a structure, my swing set is not a structure. Well, they are. The problem with that is that if if we have evidence that historically, for one reason or another, right or wrong, we haven't treated those gas pumps as structures, we can't change that when this applicant has made, is in the pipeline.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah.
That's, I will just tell you that that's my, and legal interpretation concern is that we've got a history of not doing that. And we really should probably revisit that. And there may be some reason, I'm not a gas pump expert, but I will tell you that my general, as Mr. Lurk indicated, my general interpretation is being affixed makes it a structure.
Makes it a
I've had
structure.
people argue it's not a structure unless I live in it. Well, no, that's not the case.
That's what I wanted to understand is, one, the definition of our structure per code, because I have the same feeling you do, but the basis of me not supporting this would just be the visual compatibility and not good planning practices. I don't feel like it hits either one of those.
And just to kind of throw it out there, and this might even be a question for Bob, would it be a possibility to only approve the two that are closest to the building? Those are about 45 feet from the roadway. Is that something that the planning commission could, yeah,
Based on your chart where you showed the other gas pumps, like that would fall in line with the rest of the fuel stations within the city of Arnold. Like that I would get on board with, but I'm just held up on the good planning practices. If this were a new application, I don't think any of us would approve structures 10.24 feet from the right of way.
absolutely.
Mr. Williams, you have a comment or a question?
And I assume that, although they've been there since 1964, that the pumps have never been damaged in any way from cars coming, tearing in there and whatever. So can I assume that there will be buffers or pipes or stuff to support ballards? Thank you. Ballards to provide that, should it never happen, in front of those.
I actually have a picture here. You can actually see the bollards in the photos from the site before, and as it was damaged. They do have vehicle bollards.
You're right.
Hmm.
I did not see those. And I know they're always there, but I just wanted to make sure they were there.
Yes.
Mr. Williams, any other questions or comments?
No, sir.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I did.
Mr. Hack?
So I was wondering if this was going to be approved, how long would it be in theory before the canopy would be built? So how long would they be allowed to sell fuel from a canopyless gas station or filling station until we actually had a canopy built over it? Said everything was just move smoothly.
So a variance is not guaranteed to be obtained in this situation or any situation really. The applicant would have to make a request and outline their claim to meeting, I believe it's 7 criteria for a variance. And it's very specific to the site conditions, the topography, the hardship that is imposed. And to answer your question, it's not even guaranteed that they would get the variance. If they were successful in that attempt, the variance procedure takes, I usually guesstimate, about 8 weeks from the time of submittal. Because the Board of Adjustment doesn't meet like you all on a regular basis. They meet as needed. So you kind of have to wrangle the cats and then make that advertisement. But similar to you all, they do make their decision on that same night. But that whole process takes about 8 weeks. And then, of course, then they have to go through permitting, which can take any number of months due to, time to manufacture the canopy, et cetera.
Okay, so with that being said, so my biggest thing is how the area is going to look. So how long construction is going to take, and just with the site photos given of those 2 gas stations, I don't think that is in my opinion, the best representation of Arnold, especially having a gas station right off Jeffco Boulevard as you come in south, coming from St. Louis County. I don't think that could particularly represent the best interest for the city of Arnold, in my opinion. So I was just kind of curious how this could all tie in, you know. I took a site visit yesterday just to get a good feel for the site. And in my opinion, I seen a lot of fascia torn. I seen siding damaged. I seen damaged concrete. I seen some trash. It just didn't seem like it was a very upkept place, in my opinion. So I didn't know if having a campyless gas station would add to this kind of, in my opinion, maybe a sloppy, less well representation of the city of Arnold, when residents could go easily across the street and go to the Circle K and maybe have a little bit of better experience there. So that's a visual thing is more of a thing for me, as well as, I don't know, convenience, if that makes sense, right?
Does make sense.
Okay.
It's one of the criteria, visual compatibility. Mr. Keller, you look like you're going to say something.
No, sorry.
Okay. Mr. Buss?
No.
Yeah, I can't support it. I just think it's not visually compatible. It's not consistent with good planning practices. I think you made an excellent point, Mr. Lurk, that if this was a brand new application, there's no way this would even get close to passing. It's just not visually compatible. I have a pretty strong passion for the revitalization of that part of town, and this definitely would detract from that vision. So I can't support it.
Would you be in support, as Sarah mentioned, of just approving the 2 pumps closest to the building?
I would not.
Okay. I was just curious where you
I would
where you
not.
stood on that.
I mean, if the motion wanted to, if you guys all wanted to update the motion to include something along those lines, it's up to you all, but
I honestly think that's a dangerous game.
Mhm.
I'll leave it at that. Any further discussion? All right, Mr. Buss, when you're ready, please call roll of the commissioners. Remember that we voted to, a motion was to approve. So if you're against the proposition, you vote no. Just heads up.
Mr. Sutton,
No.
Mr. Bess,
No.
Mr. McArthur's not here. Mr. Williams,
No.
Mr. Buss, yes. Mr. Lurk,
No.
Mr. Hogan's not here. Mr. Keller,
No.
and Mr. Hack.
No.
That's 6 nay votes. Motion fails. Next item on the agenda is,
Mr. Chairman, I would request that you actually, if the desire of the board is to vote no, I would appreciate if you would do a motion to deny based on the criteria that you indicated in your discussions, in light of the fact that this is a public hearing and we need to identify specifically what are, I mean, you have said it, but
yes, sir, I understand.
I
I
would-
always thought that Robert's rules called for voting in the affirmative.
you did, but we're making a record on why that.
Understood. So I'm going to ask for a motion and a second for denial.
Based on the fact that the criteria.
The criteria was not met, visually
For
compatible and planning
good planning
practices.
practice. That's what I heard. I'm not trying to put.
No, you're right.
words in anyone's mouth.
You're
But if
right.
If that's what was said, I would appreciate a.
Yes, sir. That's why you're the best, Counselor. Asking for a motion and a second for denial.
So moved.
Mr. Lurk, thank you.
Second.
Mr. Hack, thank you.
and is that with the findings as stated?
Yes.
Mr. Lurk, those are the findings as stated.
Well, I think the findings said it was visually compatible and
It lacks visual
Sorry,
compatibility
the
and-
findings as stated just now where you
based on our
find it is
discussion.
not,
Got it.
based on the
Yeah.
discussion, yes.
Yes,
Thank you.
I agree with that. Yes.
Motion and a second for denial. Any further conversation? Ask you to do this again, Mr. Buss. You run on a paper there?
I have enough. Mr. Sutton,
Yes.
Mr. Bess,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Buss, no. Mr. Lurk,
Yes.
Mr. Keller,
Yes.
and Mr. Hack.
Yes.
6 yes votes. Motion to deny passes. Thanks for keeping me honest, Counselor. Next is file PC 2026-01, which is the conditional use permit for the Midwest Oral Clinic. At this time, asking for motion and a second for approval to open conversation.
So moved.
Thank you. Mr. Keller.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Lurk. We have a first and a second for approval. Any questions or comments from the commission?
The only comment is this seems like it fits in well in the professional setting that it's proposed at.
I don't know that there's any oral surgery offices in Arnold. And there's some in Fenton, South County. I think there's one in Festus. But I don't know that there's one in Arnold. So, yeah,
So
I think it's good.
desirable. Yeah. Good.
We have a motion and a second.
I would, so moved. Motion to approve
Thank you.
PC 2026-01.
Who was second?
We are,
Oh, have that. Mr. Sutton,
yes.
Mr. Best,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Bus, yes. Mr. Lurk,
Yes.
Mr. Keller,
Yes.
and Mr. Hack.
Yes.
That's 6 yea votes. Motion passes.
That'd be 7 yay votes.
Hi, it is 7 yea votes. Thank you. It's been a long day, Mr. Lurk.
I want you to go out with a bang.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Next item is department report. Anything, Ms. Turner, you'd like to report?
I've already mentioned that, of course, I'm the new permanent director. You will be seeing more of Bella in the coming weeks. I also wanted to announce that Christy Holbatelli actually will be retiring in February. So please wish her well. She's been awesome, and I'm very sad to lose her. And speaking of, I'm very sad to lose you, Mr. Sutton. You've been an awesome chairman here, and we, especially from the staff perspective, we really appreciate all the effort that you've put into the city. And of course, we will continue to see you around. Feel free to visit us.
Yes.
And also, kind of getting back to business, we do have a next scheduled meeting for January 27th. We do not currently have anything on that one. Of course, we are holding it open just in case there are any last minute, site plan amendments of that sort, but I will let you know when that is canceled most likely. And we do have one rezoning on the February meeting, but that is all that we have at this time. But that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Sweeney, anything you want to report on?
Cannot believe it's been 16 years. I mean, I remember when you came, so, congratulations. I appreciate all your efforts. And one of the things that Sarah didn't mention, all the yes votes on the oral clinic have to get root canals. So sorry about that. It was a footnote in very small font. But anyway, congratulations. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Mr. Sweeney. Mr. MacArthur is absent this evening, so we have no council report. And now announcements. Anyone on the commission have any announcements?
If there is a meeting on the 27th, I will not be here as I'll be out of town for a company meeting.
Do you know about February 10th?
February 10th.
The second February or the second Tuesday in February. There we go.
I believe it was booked
The second
travel
week of
for
February.
that. Yep, I leave at 8 in the morning. So I will not be at the February 10th meeting
Okay,
either.
sounds good.
And I do want to wish Mr. Sutton farewell. I didn't
know where
realize
to
that
find me.
until today that you're stepping down. So
Being it-
appreciate all of your guidance on the commission for the
Thank you.
past, I guess, 5, 6+ years since I've been on there.
Thank you.
I
I
will-
just wanted real quick, I want to, Mr. Mayor, thank you for being here and thank you for your very kind words. I want to thank the staff. You guys are, it's just top notch and I really appreciate all of you. I want to thank the commission. You're all doing a very thankless job and you come here twice a month and you work outside of that by going and making the site visits and you donate your time, which is huge because people are so busy these days. And I encourage you to stay involved. It's been very rewarding for me to sit up here for the last 16 years and I'm not going anywhere as Ms. Turner said, I'll still be involved, but just recognize how much I appreciate you all and continue to do the great work that you're doing. My professional life has become just all consuming and I'm a type of person that if I commit to something, I commit it 100% of my time and I haven't been able to do that. And so really with the city's best interest in mind, I had a conversation with the mayor who graciously allowed me to continue to serve up until this time. And just want to thank everybody for their patience with that, but mostly it's just been a real honor to serve with all of you. And thank you. So at that time, I'll ask for a motion and a second for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Adjourned.
And I know the meeting's over, but for anyone who's interested in being chairman, we will hold an election at the next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, you get paid a lot more as a chairman.